Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. Or otherwise you can look me up on YouTube and scroll down to the very bottom of the YouTube page and you'll see my created playlists. These are the videos that I watch on a daily basis. This one here, UK Outlaws, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, Tehran-Backed terror group behind anti-Semitic attacks. The British government announced on Monday that it is banning Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, also known as the Irgc, and the Tehran-linked Islamic Movement of Companions of the Right, IMCR, also known as HAYI, after the group claimed responsibility for a series of anti-Semitic attacks in the United Kingdom. The move marks one of the longest, strongest actions yet against Iranian-backed activity on British soil. Under the new measures, affiliation with either the Irgc or IMCR or HAYI will be punishable by up to life imprisonment. The government expects Parliament to approve the legislation by the end of the week. Despite repeated warnings, Iran has continued in its attempts to undermine the safety and security of the UK through its use of criminal networks and proxy groups. British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper said in an official statement, "We are clear that we will not tolerate foreign-backed threats that target the UK and our allies. That's why we are today going one step further and announcing sanctions on the Islamic Movement of Companions of the Right, IMCR, otherwise known as HAYI, an organisation who has publicly claimed responsibility for 7 attacks of the UK, locations linked to the Jewish and Israeli communities, and Persian language media, including the anti-Semitic arson attacks in 4 Hatzalah ambulances in Golders Green. In March, the Foreign Secretary continued. In March, London police arrested 2 suspects following the arson attack targeting Hatzalah ambulances serving the Jewish community in Golders Green. British Security Minister Angela Eagles said the attacks were directed by the Irgc Quds Force, the elite unit responsible for the Iranian regime's overseas operations and coordination of proxy groups. Sitting behind IMCR were made members of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, Quds Force, who almost certainly directed IMCR attacks across Europe, Eagle stated. IMCR also claimed responsibility for anti-Jewish attacks in the Netherlands and Belgium this year. In June, 22 countries, including the UK and the United States, condemned the Irgc and its Quds Force for supporting attacks targeting Jewish communities, Iranian dissidents and journalists critical of the Iranian regime. A 2024 European intelligence assessment concluded that Tehran had increasingly relied on criminal networks to carry out attacks against Jewish, Israeli and Iranian dissidents targets across Europe. This assessment, shared by Israeli intelligence, identified Sweden as a key hub for Iranian terror operations. Iran operates many criminal organizations in Sweden and Europe in general, while taking advantage of the relative advantage of each and sometimes the rivalry between them, Israeli intelligence stated in 2024. On Monday, British authorities also designated the Russian-controlled GRU Volunteer Corps as a national security threat, accusing the group of carrying out hostile covert operations in the UK on behalf of Moscow. We have already taken tough actions against the Iranian regime and those linked to it, and against Russian operatives and networks targeting our country. Their new powers will make it easier to prosecute and lock up anyone carrying out their dirty work here in Britain. Outgoing British Prime Minister Keir Starmer stated, the announcement comes as European governments continue to increase pressure on Tehran. In January, the European Parliament voted in favour of listing the Irgc as a terrorist organisation amid broader EU efforts to impose additional sanctions on Iran over its refusal to grant international inspections access to its nuclear sites. This is great to hear that the UK has now listed the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, as a terrorist organisation. It should have been done 2 years ago, but all we can do is thank God that it's passed now. And the Church of England is only adding to the Jewish people's problems by saying that Israel is a colonial enterprise and a racist country. Well, I would like to just inform you that Israel has an Arab sitting on the Supreme Court. There was an Arab that placed a sitting Israeli Prime Minister in a jail cell. Arabs work in the hospitals, the schools. The government. There's political parties in the Knesset that are all Arab parties. There's no segregation on buses. There's no racism, as the Church of England calls it. And Israel is not a colonial state. The Church of England has got a brass neck calling any other country colonialist when we were the biggest colonials of the lot. You need to get your facts straight before you put documents like this out. It's no wonder your churches are empty and people are flocking to churches to tell them the truth. Don't bless same-sex marriage. Follow the Bible to a T. The Church of England has lost all of its authority and should be hanging themselves in shame. And that woman who's the charge of it needs jailed for putting out such a statement. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.